Hey guys, how's it going? April 11th, 2021. Holy smoke. What the hell? It's been one of these crazy days. I can't. I mean, we've been busy. We don't have much to show for it, but we've been busy. My son was burnt out earlier. So much so when I called him up and I said I finally was able to break through because I had him till 9, and I was like, okay, I know there's got to be a reason for this. So I'm researching research. We did so much freaking research on Unity today on some of the various settings. One of the last things which got us by one of the breakthroughs was a simple little issue that we were running into. Every time we got to the fourth spear of light, something would disappear. And one thing that I'm already at least above a freight yard manager level, not to say, the freight yard manager for me is the measuring stick. That's the one that I'm looking at, and I'm a long ways of being able to do what freight yard manager can do. However, that being said, I'm already at a level where I've got some things going, and I'll show you what I mean. So here's how. Well, that's not it. This is. I'll get into Unity here. This was. This is the end of a screen sheet. Right now, there's no code. So how you're at this is the fourth light code. There's actually 3 lights that are in this yard that are over this away. I've got an engine, the light source, the light cone here that's coming out. It's a lot of settings. There's all kinds of various settings to get the light right, and all kinds of things, and it's really cool actually, because I mean, first I had to start by getting this the right size to fit my HD resolution image. So that took a while. So I had to figure out how to do that. I was just like, okay, it's 1.77. Okay, that's fine. How do I set it? And I was trying various settings, and then eventually it came down to scale. It was 1.77. That's all I had to do was change the scale, where I was reluctant to do so because I've watched so many different videos to try to prepare me to the point where I'm watching them again. I'm watching them multiple times, going over stuff and thinking, oh, okay, I missed that. And the cool thing is I'm involved. Now, I'll show you how some of these variable settings affect the scene. So what I have is I got a bunch of assets already. These are static assets that I put in. I can change these around a bit. I put 5 boxcars. Some you don't see. So when you're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, well, where's the other boxcar? He's over here. He's over here on track 99. Difference here is he is in the ambient moon, starlight, or whatever we want to call this that I've put in play, and he's not in the lighting area of the floodlights. I forget how many floodlights are here. I saw 3 shadows, and I'll show you what I mean shortly. What this is. The light cone's a little bit not exactly where at the engine square. I only used I only used rectangles for now. I painted basically used the same colored boxes, painted an engine same color, same size. Didn't play around too much more with that. I just wanted to see the various effects. But let's get this into daylight here, and I'll show you some of the properties and what it actually looks like. So when we get the sun over here, and this took a while to figure out, believe me, now it's drilled in my head because I've been doing it so much to try to get it to that level. So from this scene here, it's a little tilted, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to turn off the spotlights. You can kind of see them in their there, see, now I'm turning them off, and now you're getting the natural sunlight. We had to change the color to get it a perfect tint. And headlights, I don't like it. I think it's a little too bright for my liking. But that is, you know, directly overhead. I'm not too sure. What's 3 p.m. going to give me? He said that this was around a 3 p.m. shot. So let me try to play around with that and see if it makes a difference. I don't think it will, but I'm going to try anyways. So 270's midnight, 180's 6 p.m. 180. Okay, so I gotta go 45. 180, right? 90, 45, right? Okay, so we'll put it at 125. 90, 125. I wish I could do this in the code. I was trying to use some scripts that were online, but they weren't working for me, so I'm actually going to go back and do them from scratch. Why am I compiling? I don't want to compile. Really? That's kind of weird that it suddenly... Thank you. That's the first time I saw an error on them. Anyways, whatever. What do I want to get in here? I want to get into the scene. No, I want to get into materials? No. So I had the various materials. This is actually in a material. Blah, 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 blah. Spotlight. Where am I at here? See, it's still taking a while for me to find my way around here. There's my image. That's my original image. I'll show you that in comparison from my drone. The scenes. Now, I gotta click onto these. Okay, so the main camera. Okay, we're fine here. Let it go for now, and I'll play this. This is supposed to be at 3 o'clock. We were trying to set it for a noon image, but this is the 3 o'clock image. Now, I'm going to see what it looks like in comparison to there. So you can see it's a little different. Obviously, there's no engines and no cars on the track that is there, but it is there. So it's not too bad. We didn't get it perfectly on. Let me move it over to high noon here, because I think we probably got the color a little bit wrong, but that's okay. Not the plane. So this is where I had to change the scale of the plane, and then I've been playing around with the rotation to try to get this perfectly lined up straight, which it's not right now. But mind you, this track kind of curves too, so it's not the best track to put it on. But I wanted it to get the reflection of the I wanted the floodlights to come down and see how it looked. So let me go ahead and, what was I going to do? We're going to go back to the sunlight for a second, and we will put the rotation right above us, which puts us, no, that's no, I already had it right. It is above us. I don't know what the hell I was doing here. I thought I had already changed it to something else. Uh-oh. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Maybe I did already change it. I'm losing my mind. It's been a long day. Okay, so that's the engine headlights looking west at 270, and Okay, everything else is fine. Let me just go ahead and save this. And we'll go ahead. and then we'll compare the image to, yeah, it's a little bit brighter, just a bit, but it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. I don't have to be 100% perfect. I can always detail with that. What I'm not a big fan of is this light cone here. Unfortunately, we were playing around with it, or I was, yeah, I guess both Emmett and I were playing around with it. Now this is off the line a little bit. We put this perfectly on the axis. The photo itself is not. I've already tried tilting a little bit. I probably have to do some more. What I have to do now is establish the. I have to establish a formula that will calculate the lines for whatever direction it's going. So if this switch is set to this, I have to establish a line of yeah. I have to establish a traffic flow for these cars to actually rotate accordingly as they're going through. So we'll see how that goes next. I'm not. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to get a point where I get maybe 4 cars coming in, come on one of these tracks, take one of these sidings and exit the scene. That'd be kind of nice. But I have to review some other things, so I'm not too concerned about timing at this point. I'm not in a rush. I want to get it right. I'm very committed right now because I spent a lot of my Sunday doing this. It wasn't easy, trust me. It was not easy. I know it doesn't look like much, but Emmett was quite pleased with the accomplishment. So was I. And like I can show you, like one of these boxcars. This is how. We don't have any collision detection just yet. That'll come later on. Once I figure a coupling routine or something like that, then I'll put the collision detection and set it up so that when the cars connect, that they would couple. I don't think I'll go so far as to worry about air hoses or anything like that. I know it's an operation. I know it's part of. It's all part of a train simulator, but then again, I'm not going for a train simulator. This is a railroad simulator. The key here is to get the logistics going. Once these trains are moving, an engine would be switching down here. This is the area where a conductor is looking at the train. There would be information on a HUD that would tell them how far they are away from a signal, what signal they are, etc. So you're basically acting as conductor or you're acting as engineer or something to that matter, but it's probably going to be acting as conductor in a switching sense. And then once you're out on the road, it would be acting as an engineer. Now this, we are 120 meters in the air at where this was shot from my drone. So I'm not exactly sure, give or take, the gradient, but it's definitely it goes a little bit wider because it's not quite the level of the screen just now. Once compiled, it would definitely expand to the screen, but still, when you're looking at that, you're basically dealing with a ladder, and trying to get an entire ladder in one shot might be difficult. It's possible. Port Robinson Port Robinson was pretty close when I was looking at some of the imagery yesterday, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll show you just. Let me just check comments here if anybody's got questions or nothing else too much. I probably lost everybody right there. So this was one of the articles where we had a stumbling block on, and it was as much as it was much of a quality setting. We had the three spotlights, and then all of a sudden we would flip the headlights on, or we flipped something else, and suddenly we lost the moonlight, or the moon slash starlight. I was like, okay, this is weird. Why is this happening? This guy's trying to say like 100 spears, and the answer came pretty much. You can bump the pixel count in the quality settings, project setting qualities, which we did. I bumped it up to 100, and sure enough, that solved the issue. So and some answers are easier to find than others, quite frankly. So I'm definitely working on this tomorrow night. Let me get out of the compiler here, and I'll show you the boxcars, the movement for them. So, say for example, yeah, we'll use this guy who's by himself. Is he boxcar 4? No, he's boxcar 4. So position here, 5.9. Is that what the one is? X, Y, Z really confuses me here. X and Z are the two axes that go this way, and Y, for some strange reason, is the altitude. That just confuses the hell out of me. But anyways, I'm not used to that one being. I'm used to Z being the one. But anyways, for whatever it's doing here, it's doing that. Let me just take a look at this here. Okay, so it is 5.9. So basically, you can see there. So if I go -4, obviously I'm not quite in line. So it's a simple matter of me being able to, each frame a second, be able to move the ratio that goes with it. It's not that difficult to do at this point. And in fact, I can tell you right now, I've already seen code that handles this very nicely. This, trust me, this was one of the hard hurdles to get over. I can't tell you how difficult it was. It took us over an hour in the beginning of the day, right around just before lunch, and when we were getting into this, just to get this thing to fit on a freaking the high definition, yeah, because it was a square. And I was trying to fit this in a square, and it was squished. And I was like, "What is going on?" And I'm looking in, and of course, people are saying, because this is kind of a weird thing. What I'm doing is I'm basically putting a 3D object onto a, like I'll save this again. Eventually, I have to keep these dynamic as well. That probably is going to be the only one that I can think of that's going to be an issue. Eventually, I'll have to put it. It's not going to be an issue. It'll be a challenge, let's say, to have an actual dynamic feature that comes in, or a car to generate a car or whatever, or to pull from a consist and come on the screen and off the screen. I wonder what happens when we get off the area here. Oh yeah, it just goes right out. So if I was to here, and I'm coming onto the line, and you look into the full screen. Yes, it's going onto that little. I have to raise that ratio just a bit more. If I scale it down here, yeah, see, it's actually, I have too much of a buffer on the outside, so I could probably change that right now while I'm working on it. I'll show you guys what I basically been doing to try to get this as best as I can. So I go into the plane, and the Y. Yeah, this is the one right here, and I have to that 179.5. This is, of course, oh no, that's a rotation. Hold on a second here. The scale's fine. Okay, I had a brain fart here. That's a rotation. So why? now I'm questioning it. I'm just like, I'm looking at it. It's 177 is the scale for X, but it's not quite. Put it to 178 for a minute. Well, that was interesting. 177. Oh, okay. Get out of there. That looks scary. What'd I do? Did I break it? It looks like I broke it. What the hell did I do? Okay, hold on a second here. Control Z. 1.77. Holy crap. That scared the hell out of me. I was like, no, what'd I do? Okay. Okay, let's save this thing before I get into trouble. This is where I'm gonna have to start making backups pretty soon. I can see that coming. 10:51. Jesus. Time flies by. Honestly, it takes so much just to get and just trying to learn the dynamics, like moving it around, and it's like, okay, there we go. Middle mouse button. I don't like using the middle mouse button, but hey, whatever. No, don't do that. Now the middle mouse button's all screwed up. Boxcar engine. Okay. So let me try. I mean, it's not too bad, to be quite honest, and I might just leave it there. Even though it's got that little border along the side. I'm not a big fan of that, but and I'm not too sure what it will look like compiled, so that's another thing. So maybe I should try that. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go ahead with build and run. How about that? Let's see what the hell that does. Oh, select folder. Now, I don't know what this is going to do. I haven't tried compiling it yet. This is obviously not much of anything at the moment. So, made with Unity. Holy crap. There's my program. It don't do nothing else. But it's really close to scale. I just got this little tiny border on the side. I love that made with Unity thing that pops up. I think that is so cool. And now I can't get out of it. because I have no code. Windows Live, Unity Editor. Oh, there's my RTS 32-bit. I'm only a 32-bit? Really? Fantastic. Okay. Let me try compiling it one more time. Because I haven't seen it look that good, like full screen. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to call it the night. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Spotlight. No. Sun. We will put that over that way. Okay. The car's over there. And yeah, we'll save that. And I know, like I said, I know this isn't a program. So we'll go ahead and we will build this and run it again. I guess it knows where I want it to run, which is cool. And it's going to go run. That's pretty cool, because you can't even see the car right now. In fact, I forgot to turn my lights on. I forgot to turn these lamps on. One more try. Jesus, Murphy. Task manager. I'll get the scripts going, don't worry, guys. Railroad transportation, let's end that. Let's try this one more time. Turn the damn lights on. Spotlights. There we go. So what will happen is the spotlights, it's going to react to time of day. And then that's how it's going to do its thing that way. So, okay, so I will save this, and then I will compile and run one last time for the end of the night and see how it looks. And give me something. Where am I? Build and run. Thank you. Nice. I can just see that there. It's on the edge of the screen, so it's not as visible, and I'm not 100% sure if, how the downward light works, but I'm okay with it. We had issues earlier today of trying to get the color right for in the daylight to get it to that perfect sun color, and stuff like that. So there's day-night cycle routines out there. I'm not worried about the day-night cycle. I've done everything that I want to do for now. The fact that I can do these little spotlights like this in a yard to lighten up what you're seeing, because otherwise you're not seeing this. You're in moonlight here, so this is actually giving me what I want. This part right now, assuming I can get all those aspects in, it will basically automatically put me further than Freight Yard Manager. Now, this is no Freight Yard Manager the way it is right now. It's not even a program. It's technically a program, but there's no extra code. It's all game engine right now. It's all game engine. Everything's set up. Eventually I want to have it. I'm not happy with the light from the engine. That I think I'm just going to live with. It's going to light up during the daytime a little bit. So be it. I might even put a night-day factor on that, perhaps. I don't know, like an intensity. Because I think what's happening is it's scattering with the atmosphere a little bit too much, and I don't want to get into the shadowing that much. The other thing is too, other than a top-down view, I was looking yesterday at different views. It's going to get a little tricky when you get anything other than a top-down view. For the longest time, I was fighting with getting a top-down view. Now, I should be able to change a scene fairly quickly, or at least I hope I can, or at least change to a different camera. I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up changing to a different camera, or using some form of hotkey user interface that gets me in and out of different places relatively quickly. As far as, what trains I want to grab, etc. I'm also going to, have floating labels that are going to appear over the various cars. So, I don't know how much length we're talking here. Unfortunately, how would you say this? The scale's kind of weird at the moment. I have to still play around with it. I think the scale's a little bit too off, but I don't want to mess with it right now. But then again, I do need to. If I get this scale correct, then I might be able to get some of the other scales correct. So that's another thing I'm thinking about, because I don't want to start too much and then realize, okay, well, wait a minute, what scale am I dealing with to actually move the cars and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a lot of two steps forward, one step back. It's going to be a learning process. I still have a lot to do, but I'm committed to do this. Now, am I going to show you guys this crap all the time? No, I'm going to be too busy doing this. I just wanted you to see that things are going fine. It's obviously not as fast as I would want to, but I have been taking in quite a bit of information, and we've accomplished a lot. I'm quite happy with the lighting results. I think that looks good. That's kind of what I wanted. I like the coloring of the sun. I do like how the day-night cycle is working. That was some of my goals right away, and that's why I wanted to make sure that part was working. Get the lighting in, get the scale, get everything else right. Then I can start playing around with a few other things. But anyways, that's it for now. That's a mouthful. I gotta Control-Alt-Delete, go into Task Manager and kill that program. Well, not Windows Live Photo. Get into, not the editor either. We'll get rid of that one again, and everything else is good, and I'm calling it the night, so blah, 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 blah. Give me that damn thing. Okay, don't need that anymore. So, yeah, that's about it. He's upstairs. He goes up at 9 o'clock, so I gave him a call. He might have been watching, who knows. But, yeah, he's up there. He's been down most of the night. He's actually been helping me most of the day. And he got burnt out quicker than I did, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's understandable. But he's on his quote-unquote March break, which is in April this week, so I might be seeing him a lot more, which means I probably will have less time by myself to do this, which is okay. But we'll get this done, because I want to have fun too. I don't want to be pounding, but he is interested in this stuff for sure. He's actually his motivation to actually build the assets is pretty strong right now, because of this. He's seen what I can do, and I've been telling him all along. I says, build the assets, get Blender going. You do your thing in Blender. He's already doing the Blender stuff for his own things like trains. Now he can start using it as well, and I can start doing it. I have to see. Scott gave me some stuff in Blender as well. I haven't converted it yet. I am not that. Blender is one of those things that is another learning curve for me that I just don't want to play around with right now. So for now, I'm just dealing with the rectangles for now. Yes, they're not trains. It's okay. I can live with the fact that they're not. They will be trains later on. They'll have, what they look like. But looking 90 degrees down, you can't see the difference too much other than the color of the paint and maybe some markings and stuff like that. You know, hey, Rail fan, how's it going? Did you get to see my screenshot? I don't know if you did or not, but if you didn't, go back earlier in the video. So we were playing around with some of the settings. But anyways, that's it. I'm going to end it now. I am whipped, even though I slept in today. So things are good. We'll keep working on it and see what goes on. Yeah, he's starting to. Actually, he's huge in trains. He trained. I'll tell you this about trains. What happened with him and I. So I was developing Niagara. This was after Run 8. This was after, you know, I had for Run 8, Run 8 kind of ran its course about a year or two ago. It started getting old. Blah blah blah. I've been over this before. So Run 8's kind of, you know, it's been out of it has been done for a long time. I started looking for a replacement. I didn't want to do something of my own. I did, but I wasn't too sure how I was going to do it or what I was going to do. It was kind of a weird feeling because I didn't know what to expect from Run 8, and unfortunately, you know, version 3 has been a long time coming, and we still don't know. They're still working on it. Trust me, as somebody who's just getting into the 3D side, you know, John's had to learn a lot. Just like I am starting to learn a lot. So he's huge into trains. What happened was I got into trains. We both purchased trains on a discount. I think we purchased it both for $15. So we both bought North American versions. And it was, oh boy, and it was way, way better than what it used to be. Because I was kind of into it at Run 8, and before Run 8, and you know, 9 years ago, whatever the heck it was, never got back into it. So I was really into it. Here's where I ran into issues. After I started getting all the work, after I got I even went so far as to buy an add-on system for doing, I can't remember what, I think it's called Transdem. So I had DEM data, I had the whole thing going, and the roadblock that I ran into the most was that I couldn't quite figure out what the grades were. I looked and I knew I would have to estimate it, and I wasn't too happy about that. But I was willing to live with it, but then I started thinking about, well, what can I do with trains that is any different than Run 8 or is going to give me? It had a better AI system, so you could, you know, I could batch jobs up, but I didn't have the multiplayer like I used to, although there is multiplayer. I didn't have the things that I came to expect from Run 8. So I felt as though it was going to, and I didn't want to just create routes. I wanted to run and operate them. So the more I started thinking about it, the more I realized it's kind of getting away from what RTS was all about. And RTS was a big part of Run 8 and version 1. Version 2, it died. And the reason why it died was I let it. And I let it because Run 8 did a good enough job, and I didn't feel it was necessary for me to try to push it, and I didn't. They did a good enough job, so it wasn't needed. And I was all for it. I was all fine. And eventually, everything started getting bigger. People were, you know, basically going to one or two servers. There's only like one or two major servers. The server that I was on They try to do all of California, and they got like a dozen people, dozen regulars, and some operating nights they may even get 7, 8 people. That's just not enough to run all that crap in California. It was fine before we got into Cajon. It was fine before we started pushing into LA. Well, Cajon was fine, but after that, once you start getting into LA and you start pushing to past Bakersfield and all those other places, it was just too much. So this isn't about me bashing on Run 8. I know it comes across that way. It wasn't what it once was in its peak at the beginning of version 2, because it just kept getting bigger and there wasn't enough AI into it. I have a lot of motivation to get the AI right, to get the AI to do things in this. So not only do I have the car forwarding experience in RTS beta, which was for Run 8, but I also have the experience of making various control simulations way back in the Commodore 64 era, as far as dispatching AI, stuff like that I could play around with, and I know how to. It's not that difficult to get the AI to behave in a certain manner. It's just a matter of following a procedure, a set of scripts, and taking a choice of action. The difficult part is managing all that AI, and that's always a resource issue. Once you have the AI, you have to manage it all. It doesn't work very well for huge routes. So I'm much inclined to try it small scale for now, expand as much as I can, and see how much I can push the resource limit to AI, and see how much control I can have. Ideally, what this is going to do is, this is the way I see it, and I described this the other day. I've described it on my forum. I've described it on TrainSim. I have a huge vision for this, and I'm not going to let. This was a pretty good day. It didn't get to the coding part, but I was pretty damn close. And it's 11:12, and I got to work tomorrow, so it is what it is. But it's going to get there, and I'm pretty confident now. I might play around with the scale a little bit more. I think I should before I start coding. As much as I want to get into the coding, because I just want to get this started, but at the same time I want to get it right. And I'm more than happy to spend a lot of time. I'm actually excited about this. I'm not dismantled. I'm not dismantled. My brain's fried. It's been working too hard today. I'm not disgruntled or upset or anything. That's what happened. This was cool. Everything that happened today was very accomplishing. It was very satisfying. I was able to break through a lot of potential issues, which was unexpected, but it worked out fine. So no, I have no map on the DLS. I never sent it up there. There's a lot of Niagara maps. That's the other thing too. I would have loved to download try a few other different maps to see what they were like, and maybe I would have just been happy with that. Unfortunately, didn't have the first class ticket or whatever that other garbage is that they try to get people to do to use their download server or something, but not a big fan of that whole thing. So no, Trains is Trains. It's okay. I mean, the community's really cool. It's very strong. I think Trains and Microsoft Train Simulators has two of the strongest. Well, Microsoft Train Simulator / OpenRails has the two strongest communities out there. They're the two oldest and the two strongest. They have learned to stay the test of time. Right now, Run 8's all in developers' hands. As far as DTG products goes, I think they're nothing but eye candy trash. They look great, but they just, it's on to the next version, on to the next version. They have about as much passion as, well, anyways. I don't know. It's their shit. They can do what they want, but they get a lot of people excited because they got a lot of cool eye candy and they got a big team, and they're able to pump in a lot of money. That's nice. I've seen their Hamilton. I saw their Hamilton. I was so excited when I first saw the image of Hamilton. I was salivating, and I had already been kind of curious about them before, and I thought, okay, they must have learned from their mistakes before. They must have improved this. And Hamilton's a joke. They have the harbor. They make it look like the harbor is all accessible, and you can't even get to 80% of the dockside industries. They have no passenger rails. They have nothing but freights running down the Oakville sub. It is such a freaking mess. I just, especially when you put a teaser image that you got that little passenger station, a go station, and you're thinking automatically, oh yeah, you got the Go network, and it's like, no, you don't have any Go. It's just CN freight trains. It's like there's not that much freight traffic on the Oakville sub, but no, it's just too much. But anyways, that's their stuff. I'm not worried about what others do with their stuff. They can do whatever they want. There's a huge niche that I'm looking to fill for me. For me, first and foremost, for me. And then I've already listened to some comments. I was originally just going to do Niagara. I was happy to do Niagara. Now, yes, this is a Niagara map that I'm starting with, but that's because I just happen to be in Niagara, and I took a few drone flights on a nice weekend. Got some images yesterday, and these images are fresh off yesterday. So what you saw tonight was an image from yesterday that I was able to pull off, and I have several more. I've done Port Robinson. I've done a few of the other areas. I still have to deal with user interfaces. I have to deal with menus. It gave me kind of goosebumps when I saw that Made of Unity come up, because I played so many games that are Unity-driven games, and to see that Made with Unity pop up before it just showed my stuff, I was just like, okay. Once I get the code in, and C# is not my strongest language, I know it. I learned it a long time ago. Power C to be clear, but I can learn that. If I can learn everything else, I can go back into that. I understand the logic. I understand what's going on. It just takes my brain a while to wrap myself around it. But the basic stuff, once you start doing the basic stuff and it's repetitive and you keep doing it and you keep adding code, I'm already in the interface. I'm already much more comfortable than I was before in the interface. So yeah, all that stuff, it's going to come through. So anyways, I think that's it for now. I think we will end the night and call it for now. And yeah, I'm probably not going to do a live stream tomorrow. I've got to keep coding. I can't keep showing updates every day. Run8 hasn't shown an image of their stuff in 2 years, so I mean, I guess I'm too. I shouldn't be doing this. I should have spent this last 50 minutes doing more stuff. But then again, I was already working on it 6 hours today, so that's enough. Going to bed. Happy where I am right now. I haven't broke it yet, so have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you later.